How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing. Always protect your profits. And today we're going to be talking about FISKER. I know it's been a minute since I did my last video, but I want to give you guys an update. I know I've been covering a lot of EV stocks on the channel, but many of you have been asking me about it. I won't waste any more time. Let's jump into the agenda. If you're new to this channel, I just want to let you know we have timestamps down below inside the description. But if you're a shareholder or you're thinking about taking a position, I highly suggest you watch this full entire video. So the first thing we're going to go over is the technical analysis. We're going to be taking a look at the overall price action. We want to know support. We want to know resistance. We want to know what it looks like in the bearish case scenario and as well as in the bullish case scenario. I did add in a potential swing trade, but again, it is not financial advice. And then we're going to go on Fintel, taking a look at the recent short interest information and also recent institutional ownership. The reason why the short interest is important because it does have an impact on the way the stock performs. And then we're going to be taking a look at the order flow distribution. We want to know the buying and the selling behavior on the retail side and as well as on the institutional side. And then when all of that is done, we'll be going into the final thoughts and as well as some more details. So let's get to it. So we're going to do a technical analysis for FISKER. Let's see how it performed on Friday. So it ended up closing at $14.88, being down 0.80%. On the low, it tested $14.26, and then on the high, testing $15.28. When we take a look at the volume stats on the day, you can see we traded at 7.6 million, and then for the average volume over 10 trading days, it is at 6.824 million. So we did have above average volume on the day, but you can see we dealt with a selling pressure. Now, when we take a look at our chart, which is a daily chart, we can see from the RSI down below, it is at 36.45. And then when we take a look at our moving averages here on the chart, we are below the 50-day, the 21-day EMA, the 100-day, the 200-day. And then what does that tell us? Yes, FISKER is in a bear market. And the way that it's looking, it could possibly get down to test the $14 area of support it is proven to have in the past, all the way back in October, and we've seen this in previous months as well. So if I was going to be jumping into this play and wanting to say, well, you know what, 14.20 might be the floor, then I'd have my stop loss set right here at 14 bucks, and I'd want to ride that momentum, right? So we can actually see if we can get this to around $15.72. It's right here where we have the 200-day, and this would put it on a strong uptrend, and I can see a lot of buyers wanting to step in at this level. But I do see you'd have some resistance here right at the 21-day EMA at $16.39 as well. So that is one thing you're going to want to take into consideration. So you could decide, hey, you could take some profits there, you could add to your position, whatever you would like to do. Now, as far as the conditions we have going down inside of the market in regards to interest rate concerns and stock valuations, FISKER is one of those stocks where, you know what, it hasn't grown into its valuation as of yet. They do not have any cars on the road. So that's why I'm saying you want to be fully aware of the risks that are involved before jumping in this play. So we're going to take a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information for FISKER. So as we scroll down further on the page, green rows indicate new positions while red rows indicate closed positions. So we're going to see if we have any recent filings for this year. So the only one we have here is Tarbox Family Office Inc. that purchased 83 shares. As we take a look at what went down in December, you can see towards the end we started seeing some institutions loading up and so forth. But one thing that I want to show you guys very quickly, we also have SOA Wealth Advisors LLC that had a closed position on January the 13th. So now let's move on to the short interest. The dark pool short volume ratio is at 45.63%, and then for the dark pool short volume, it is just over 1.34 million shares. Scrolling down further on the page, the short shares availability is at 1.7 million, updated 11 minutes ago, and then for the short borrow free rate, it is at 0.70%. When we take a look at the history of the short volume ratio, we can see for the close of the 13th, it was at 51.62, and then for the close of the 14th, it was at 45.63. So one thing that is very clear, FISKER does have short squeeze potential. The criteria we normally look for is 21% or higher, and since it's at 45.63, so more than double, this is why you see a lot of volatility inside of the stock. So now let's move on to the order flow distribution. Now let's take a look at the order flow distribution for FSKER. So we can see here on the inflow it's at 12,168, and then on the outflow it's at 14,983. So it was an outflow day on the Friday. Taking a look at the breakdown further, on the large it was 672, on the medium it was 7,381, on the small it was 4,114, and then on the outflow side on the large it was 0, on the medium it was 9,774, and then on the small it was 5,209. Taking a look at the large scale orders in the last 5 days, you can see for the Friday that just passed it being that inflow of 672.48. The day before we had 0. On the 12th was outflow day of 1,168.74, and then on the 11th it was 0, and as well as for the 10th. Analyzing the numbers even further for the small scale orders that tend to represent the retail side, we had more selling than we had buying. When we take a look at what happened on the medium, we had more selling than we had buying, but it's when we take a look at the large, which potentially could represent institutions and funds, this is where we had more buying than we had selling, and selling was listed at 0. And then when we take a look at the turnover ratio, it was right around 2.57%. So this is not too bad whatsoever for a stock like FSKER. We know this is a growth stock. It's in the EV space. They have not produced any cars as of yet, so they are trading at a high valuation. So that's one thing to keep in mind. And we know the type of environment that we're in. It's going to be dealing with a good amount of selling pressure, especially when we take a look at the recent highs of where they were at. So now let's go into the final thoughts, and we'll go over some more details as well. So for my final thoughts for FSKER, we have to take into consideration what's happening with the price action. It is currently in a bear market. So that means there could be even more room for downside pressure. This is why if I really wanted to get into this stock, I would have a stop loss right at $14. I'm going to keep it very tight, and I'll be looking to get in with an entry that is just above $14, and then seeing if I could ride that momentum to get it to 15 and as well as 16, and then see where it goes from there. We know as far as $16, that's going to be a psychological area. That's going to be a resistance area that could face some selling pressure, but we want to see buyers stepping in. Also, when we went on Fintel, taking a look at the short interest information, yes, it does have short squeeze potential. No surprise knowing that it's a growth stock and they have not mass produced cars as of yet. They're going to be doing it sometime at the end of the year. So this is one thing you want to be aware of. If you're going to be putting your money into this play, it does come with a lot of risk. And that's why I want to make sure you're doing your homework and as well as your due diligence. I know there are many other EV plays that are trading out there in the market who have not yet released their vehicles, but when you do this, you just have to understand not every company is going to be the next Tesla. That's the problem I've been seeing on YouTube saying, yeah, buy this EV stock. This is the next Tesla. Oh, this is going to be better than Tesla. No, that is not the right way to go about doing it whatsoever. Know the risk that you're getting involved with, and then if you are going to be going with a position, you're going to want to be using a dollar cost averaging approach. Again, this is for all of my investors out there. So that means if the stock continues to dip, you should not be concerned, because then you should have high conviction to say, well, you know what? If it dips more, I'm going to buy more, because I believe whether it's going to be 2 years from now or 5 years from now, FSKER's stock price is going to be moving up. So again, if you have those feelings, continue to do your homework, do your research. If you're just trying to swing trade it, then make sure that you have some sort of risk management in place. And this is why I was saying, for an example, you could use a stop loss. Again, not financial advice. Also, I know there's news out there that FSKER was teasing a supercar, and I'm going to tell you guys right now, that doesn't matter at the current moment. What really matters is that the vehicles that they get out, that they're going to be able to meet their goals in regards to the production side, and also make sure that they're making innovations and making it attractive for anyone that wants to actually go out there and purchase their vehicles. I know their pre-orders do look pretty solid, but there's so many factors in place when a company is just getting started in regards to producing cars. There could be delays in production. There could be kinks that need to be worked out. Again, take this all into consideration, and this is why I say this stock is going to be seeing many dips throughout the year, and there's no reason why you need to have FOMO when it comes to this stock. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and we'll be talking real soon.